Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Evolution, and in this video we will cover part 7. So earlier we have completed 6 parts, so kindly have a go through. So this will help you in the continuity with the chapter. Okay, now let's begin with the first question, which was asked in the year 1991. Which was absent in the atmosphere at the time of origin of life? And this is a repeated question. We've already spoke about it a lot. I said during the initial formation of the origin of the earth, we did not have much of sunlight or oxygen, and the organisms that also survived at that particular time were heterotrophs. So here, which one of the following was absent? If you see, it was oxygen gas. Oxygen gas was not present due to the reducing atmosphere. Okay, yeah, it only came into existence after the evolution of photosynthesis process. Therefore the right answer to this question is option C. Next question here. Parallelism is dash, and this question was asked in the year 1990. So what do you mean by parallelism? How can you define it? See, they are talking in terms of convergent evolution. In convergent evolution, similar adaptive functional structure develop in different species. When convergent evolution is found in separate but closely related species, you call that as parallel evolution. In parallel evolution, the two species have relatively recent common ancestors. Very important point to note here. They have the common ancestors. So I've given you the answer. It is adaptive convergence of closely related groups is a right answer. Next question here. Evolution is dash. This is a very easy question, I think. Right? Very easy question. So what is evolution? We all know it is history. But whether it is a history of development or history of race, so it should either be B or C. So because we told it's history, it revolves around that. The term evolution was given by Herbert Spencer, that is descendant with modifications. Evolutions help us to understand the history of life. Evolution is a process in which something changes into different and usually more complete or better than over time as time goes by, and that happens in response to the environment, right? So this results in descendants becoming different from their ancestors. So I've given you a clear explanation of what is evolution. Now you should be able to answer. The right answer is option B, history and development of race along with variations. Okay, next question here. Continuity of germplasm theory was given by dash. So who gave it? Any idea? Before that, let's discuss about the continuity of germplasm. So what do you know about germplasm? What do you know about germplasm? See, germplasm is nothing but the germ cells, and they will be in collective form, right? Germplasm are a living genetic resource such as seeds or tissues that are maintained for the purpose of animal and plant breeding preservation, and that is required highly for research purposes or uses, right? Why is it important? If you see, it is important because it maintains the genetic diversity. It helps us to study the local genetic material and underutilized species, and also to choose the species suited for the areas of genetic engineering. So I've given you a clue. I mean, not a clue. I've given you what is germplasm. So this continuity of germplasm theory was given by option B, Weismann, and you have a picture of him to your right side. So this is Weismann. Okay, next question here. Theory of inheritance of acquired characters was given by dash. So these are all direct questions, so you don't have much explanation for this. So one of the most important attempts to explain the mechanism of evolution was made by Jean Baptiste de Lamarck. His theory was inheritance of acquired characters. The theory states that the characters acquired during lifetime are passed on to the progeny and then to the subsequent generations, and new species are produced. So this is a theory of inheritance. Inheriting, it can be from the previous generations. We inherit characters, right? So the theory of inheritance of acquired characters was given by Lamarck, which is option B. Okay, Yeah, let's move to the next question here. Origin of Species was written by dash. Very, very easy question, right? We all know what the answer is. Who wrote it? It was written by Charles Darwin. Yeah, the book Origin of Species was written by Darwin, which is option D. Next question here. Hummingbird and hawk illustrate dash. So both are birds, right? Okay. So you're given here 4 options. Can you see what are the 4 options here? Convergent, homology, adaptive, and parallel evolution. Fine. Now, adaptive radiation in evolution was developed by H.F. Osborn in 1898. It is also known as divergent evolution. It is the development of different functional structures from a common ancestral form. Example, as mentioned in the questions, whereas the development of similar adaptive functional structure is unrelated groups of organisms is called as adaptive convergence. That is, when it comes in terms of convergent evolution, the wings of the insect, bird, and bat. When convergent evolution is found in closely related species, you call that as parallel evolution. So I've given you a clear-cut answer of what is adaptive radiation. So you know what is the meaning of adaptive? You know the meaning of adaptive, adapting to something. So in evolutionary biology, the adaptive radiation is a process. Okay, it is a process. What process? What happens in this process? In which the organisms are diversify rapidly from the ancestral species into a multitude of new forms, particularly when a change in the environment makes new resources available. So what happens? It creates new challenges. We all agree with that, right? We have new challenges or opens to new environmental niches. So the hummingbird and hawk illustrate the adaptive radiation, which is option C. Now let's move to the next question here. Phenomena of an organism resembling others for escaping from enemies is called as dash. Very easy question because it's direct. So they are asking about escapism. Now, for example, we do that, right? We kind of try, if we want to escape, we try to imitate something, or we try to do some action, hide, whatever it can be. So the phenomenon of organism resembling others for escaping from their enemies is called as mimicry. Okay, so here to your right side you have a clear explanation of each term that is mentioned in the options. So adaptation, if you see, it's the evolutionary process in which the population becomes better suited depending on its habitat, while mimicry is an example of long-term adaptation in which there is a close resemblance of an organism to the surrounding in order to avoid detection. It's moreover like a hiding process. Like if you take the chameleon, it changes its color, the body color changes. So that is also a way of escaping. Leaf insect phylum, the term mimicry was introduced by Bates in the year 1862. Okay, so you have the leaf insect, which is called as phylum. It just looks like leaf. It will look like leaf. You cannot even recognize if it is going to be somewhere. Only if it moves, you'll be able to understand there's something moving. Otherwise, you'll not be able to recognize. Okay, so homology. It's a phenomenon in which the origin of organs are same, but the functions will be different. This also we saw already. Analogy will be the origin same, but the origin will be different and the functions will be the same. Okay, of two different organs. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option B. Okay, now let's move to the next question here. Which of the following had the smallest brain capacity? And this question was asked in the year 2015. Okay, now I'm going to give you an information so that you will understand the answer. Now let's look to your right side. So the brain capacity is in the decreasing order, right? So Homo sapiens, it is 1300 to 1600 cc. Homo neanderthalensis, so that is 1400. Homo erectus 600 to 700, and Homo habilis is 550 to 687. So the answer is Homo habilis, the smallest brain capacity. Thus the smallest brain capacity is in Homo habilis, as shown above. Homo habilis lived in the early you call that as Listocene. Pleistocene period and used tools of chipped stones. So the brain capacity was only that much. Okay, now you understand. Therefore the right answer is option C. Okay, a population will not exist in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium if. What do you mean by the term Hardy? You call it as Hardy-Weinberg principle. So first we will see that. In Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, it's actually a principle. Yeah, we all know that. It's a principle stating that the genetic variation, what are we taking? We are taking genetic variation. Genetic variation. Okay, genetic variation in a population will remain constant from one generation to the next in the absence of the disturbing factors. For instance, mutations disrupt the equilibrium of allele frequency by introducing new allele into the population. So what they're trying to say here in this equilibrium or in this principle, if you see, if you leave anything undisturbed, it is going to remain as such. It's not just for humans, it's for the whole world. If you're going to, now imagine you have kept a bag in the place that you have taken already. And when you go search it again, you'll find it because you left it undisturbed. Imagine you're not doing anything like mutations. You're keeping it as and when everywhere you like. You only have to search. So it's the same phenomenon here. So what is the answer here? Option. What's the answer here? Option D. Individuals mate selectively. The theory of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium states that the absence of the disturbance in the level of genetic structure, a population existence will not continue. Thus, mating should be in random way. Therefore, the right answer is option D. Now, let's move to the next question here. Industrial melanism is an example of dash. Very easy question. This question, I think all of you should know what the answer is by now, because this is a very repeated question of the whole set of this, this chapter, if you see. Yeah, it is natural selection. Do you remember we also had a moth, for example? It will be gray in color initially, and later on, due to the industrial melanism, it will change in. So I think, yeah, the answer is option A, natural selection. Next question here. Dinosaurs dominated the world in which the following geological era was? Very easy question. So it's the era of reptiles. Now you should know what the answer is. It's Mesozoic. Dinosaurs dominated the world in a Mesozoic era. The Triassic period, giant reptiles like dinosaurs emerged. In Jurassic period, dinosaurs diversified and abundant, and in you have, of course it ended up in a mass extension, but still we still have an era which talks about it. Therefore the right answer is option D, Mesozoic. Next question here. What was the most significant trend in evolution of the modern man, Homo sapiens, from his ancestors? So you have to just analyze the statements here. Okay, you have to analyze the statements here. You're given 4 options: upright posture, shortening of jaws, binocular vision, increasing brain capacity. So I think you will know what the answer is, because we just now saw the lowest brain capacity of man. You had different species which come under Homo. So we saw Homo habilis having the less brain capacity of all. So the most significant trend in evolution of the modern man from his ancestors, if you see, it is the increase in brain capacity. Okay, it's the development that you see in the brain capacity. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option D. With this, we complete the part 7 of evolution. Hope to meet you in the part 8 of this same chapter. Thank you.